and she's been writing visionary fiction novels since 2009. She lives in between dimensions most of the time. So her books are mostly channeled in 2 collections, totaling 14 books. That's a serious achievement, Michelle.
15 now.
Oh, 15 now. She has also written a non-fiction self-help book called Where's My Effing Unicorn?
Oh dear, do I have to say effing instead of this word?
Well, you can say what you like, but this is a family audience, which
Thank
helps
you.
you to own your own SH11T, so you can actually change your life. Because what Michelle is going to talk about is empowerment. Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm Michelle Gordon. I've written a bunch of books. My only non-fiction is about unicorns, of course. People laugh when I tell them that, and I don't really know why. But anyway, so the non-fiction comes from about 10 plus years of having read way too many self-help books, gone to way too many webinars, seminars, walked on fire, broken arrows with your neck, all that stuff. Ooh, see, I'm getting better at not swearing. And still, my life, at the point that I wrote the book, was absolute crap. Pretty much every part of my life didn't work. Like, at all. Relationship, finances, home, you name it, it didn't work. And as all great ideas come, I woke up one morning, and this book was kind of streaming through my head, the different subtitles, and they're basically all the excuses and reasons why I hadn't actually changed my life, even though I had all the tools, all the knowledge, all the stuff, I knew how to do it, I just hadn't actually done it yet. And so I scribbled all the ideas down, longhand, like 3 pages worth of ideas and stuff that went down, and I kind of looked at it and went, hey, that's a cool idea, I'll do that one day. And actually in the original book there was a section called One Day. All the things that we have this amazing idea for, and then we go, yeah, that's brilliant, I'll do it one day. And then we carry on with our to-do list and our daily life and etc., and then we wonder why nothing's different at the end of the day. We wonder why nothing's different at the end of the year. We wonder why we're in the same cycle, going round and round on the merry-go-round. There's a section about that. Going up and down, round and round, and nothing ever changes. And it's because, well, there's all sorts of different reasons. I mean, some of the ones I talk about are, sometimes we just like complaining. I mean, if your life was amazing, what would you have to complain about? And sometimes, especially being in Britain, I don't know if you noticed, but we like to complain a lot, especially about the weather, which I think is brilliant because, you can't control that. And, some of us are just great big drama llamas. Some of us enjoy the drama. And for a long, long time, I resisted the drama. I was like, I hate drama. Can't stand people with drama. Just stay away from me with the drama. And then I realized one day, I'm a storyteller. I'm a writer. I write novels. I write fiction. I love the drama. I am the biggest drama llama you'll ever meet. And once I owned that and said, I'm a fucking drama llama, fucking love it, it wasn't an obstacle anymore. It wasn't going to stop me from creating the things I wanted to create because I owned the fact that I'm a fucking drama llama. Okay, I'm swearing now. Are there any kids? No, okay. So basically, the unicorn book is very much yang energy, it's very much masculine energy, it's very much just fucking do it, which is also another one of the titles of sections. And it is very much in that sort of masculine kind of energy because action, and obviously we're talking about empowerment, we're talking about, taking action, stepping forward, masculine thing, because let's face it, males, masculine, I'm going to be general, but the masculine energy is very much into taking action, getting stuff done, doing things. They'll think about it later. They kind of like go through all the consequences and stuff after they've taken the action. Whereas the more feminine energy, the more sort of yin energy is very much kind of like, oh, that's an amazing idea. Well, let me think about it. And you'll kind of go through all the pros and the cons, and then you'll think about, well, do I have time? And can I really do this? And come on in, join us. And, we'll possibly, and this is what I used to do all the time, talk ourselves out of doing whatever it was that we wanted to do. And I don't know if any women kind of, relate to that. Or we'll kind of put everything else first before the thing that we really want to do. And in fact, all of our unicorns, and the unicorn is very much the metaphor for the experiences, the things, the people, the stuff that we want to have in our life that we don't necessarily have. And I don't believe that they're actually mythical creatures. I believe unicorns exist. And the things that you want in your life exist as well. If you can dream it up and if you can, put it on your vision board or think about it, you can create it, you can have it. There's absolutely no reason why you can't. And so taking action, like I said, men seem to take action a lot easier, and obviously, that has pros and cons on both sides. Women tend to think about things more, and when it comes to negative things, that can be a good thing. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, okay, I was probably going to get a bit serious here. I'll stop swearing, there's kids in there. But things like, sort of suicide rates or, things like that, they're higher in men than they are in women, because men tend to act on their impulses, women tend to think about it. So it can, it can have a flip side as well. Thinking about things first can help, but there has to be a point where we say, actually, do you know what, I'm just going to do it now. And I completely get that there are a whole host of reasons why we haven't taken action on the things that we want to do. And obviously, most of our programming, most of our, our personality, who we are, is created before we're, like about 5, 6, 7 years old. So most of the story of who you are was created when you couldn't even actually actively decide who you wanted to be. And it takes some doing. It takes some, some serious commitment to actually take a step back, look at yourself and go, right, who am I actually and who do I want to be? And, if I'm dreaming of doing this, but I'm really not doing it, I'm procrastinating, I'm being a drama, I'm doing whatever, not to get the things that I want, then why is that? What is the programming behind that? And pretty much the only tool I suggest in the unicorn to reprogram, to actually change the way that we see ourselves, we view the world, that we see our lives, is EFT. And I'm going to ask, I'm assuming people heard of EFT tapping? Cool, yeah, a few people, awesome. So the basic idea behind EFT is that you reprogram yourself on a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual level to actually do the things that you want to be able to do. And I know a lot of people have had success with it, and I personally have had a huge amount of success with EFT. I don't always remember to use it, mind, because as we know, we have all the tools and everything, and I teach somebody how to use EFT, and they go, wow, do you use it all the time? And I'm like, nope. Because I don't remember to. It's like, I'm just like, oh yeah, EFT, I really should use that. But it's really understanding that, it's not just about changing beliefs, it's not just about changing maybe a phobia or whatever, it can change things on a very physical level. So my example of this is public speaking. I like using this example because it's funny. Growing up, I wanted to be able to talk to more than just a handful of people. I wanted to be able to talk about ideas or people always said I should be a teacher, and I was like, there's way too much paperwork, and I'm sorry, but have you seen the curriculum in schools? No thanks. But I wanted to be able to do that, and I couldn't. I physically couldn't do it. If I stood in front of more than, say, 3 or 4 people, I would have jelly legs, literally would not be standing. My hands would be shaking so much that, couldn't pick anything up, couldn't hold anything. I'd need a script to read from. I'd have bright red cheeks, which I probably have got bright red cheeks because it's really hot in here. And I'd stutter and stammer and probably even forget my own name. So I tried several ways to get over it. I entered public speaking competition, in which I talked about geopathic stress. And if you haven't heard about geopathic stress, check out Adrian's talks over the weekend, because he's going to talk about that. And I did this public speaking competition, talked about geopathic stress. I was holding on to the podium for dear life because my legs had gone completely. Did the whole demo and everything, and won the competition. And you'd think, woohoo, that would get you over this fear. That's it, you're done. No. Still had all the physical symptoms, still had all the fear around it. Couldn't even do a 40-second pitch at a business networking meeting without a script. And 40 seconds is really not a very long time. You should be able to just reel it off. And so anyway, I joined this business networking thing, and they said, wow, you believe in angels and fairies and unicorns and shit. You need to do some talks. And I was like, 10 minutes of a talk. And, ooh, that wasn't me. That was a little sign, it's fine. 10 minutes, and, I had to, stand there. There was no podium. It would just be me. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I signed up. I signed up for 10 of them. Because I thought, hey, maybe this will get me over it. And as happens, when you actually take action, when you go, do you know what? This is what I really want to do. I'm going to take action. The universe responds, and up popped this little video on YouTube about 2 weeks before my first talk. EFT for public speaking. And up until that point, I've been using EFT for all sorts of stuff. I got a girl over a phobia of spiders. She went from being afraid of daddy long legs to picking up tarantulas. I knew it worked. But I hadn't thought to use it on something that had physical sort of symptoms towards. So I did this video, tapping, and we'll go through the tapping if everyone's cool with that in a minute. I did the tapping, and I did this video. It was about 20 minutes, which is a bit OTT, is a bit overkill, but anyway, I did it. And yeah, the first time I did my talk, I was dressed like a fairy, wings and all, in front of this whole whole room of suits. I was like bouncing up and down. I was talking about angels, I was talking about fairies, and the only comment I got at the end was, "Are you on something?" And not only that, but I'd eaten my entire breakfast, I'd eaten a whole bar of chocolate, whereas before, like, my stomach would be this great big knot, I wouldn't be able to eat a thing. But a really weird side effect was that I could no longer use scripts. Hence why standing here, absolutely no idea what I'm going to say, but it comes out anyway. And if I do try and use scripts, then I just get completely lost and lose it. So my point is, you can actually reprogram yourself to go from somebody who literally cannot even stand, I mean, I couldn't pick up my cup after doing my 40-second pitch because I went from that to being able to stand in front of people, talk about ideas that are in my head, see whatever comes through, interact with people, no problems at all. So it's possible to change anything that you want to change about yourself. And obviously you don't have to change something if you don't want it. If you like complaining, you like being a drama llama, and you like things just the way they are, perfect. You know, the point is you don't have to change. And I think once we kind of accept that as well, again, it becomes less of an obstacle. If you say, well, actually, I like complaining about shit, it's fun, then go with it. So, I have no idea sort of where I am time-wise, but I'm going to go with it. So, yeah, I want everybody to have a little think about a unicorn, something that you want in your life that you've not taken action towards, or maybe you have taken action, but it's been a bit like, well, I kind of want it, but I'm not really sure. Something that you want to do, but you haven't. Can everybody think of something? It doesn't have to be big. Can everybody think of one thing, maybe? Yeah? Alright. Now, obviously, sort of in a workshop setting, we'd go into this in way more detail, but just for the fun of it, have a think, just sort of listen to yourself. Can you think of one reason why you haven't done it? So, you know, could it just be, I don't know, it's too much hard work, or, you know, maybe it involves being in front of the public and you can't do that because, you know, you get afraid of it, it's fears, phobias, whatever it is, have a think. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, I'll stop talking. It's hard, I know. To just have a think about why you haven't JFDI'd and gone for it. I'll give you a minute. Alright, I can't count 6 seconds, so we'll just go with that. So, we're losing people already. I haven't even done the tapping yet. So, think about whatever it is that you've just thought of that you feel is stopping you from going for your unicorn and making it happen. And then we're going to tap on it. And this is the part where you end up looking really funny, but don't worry because everybody's looking funny. So, you can say out loud to yourself, even though I feel this way, and you can tap that way, or you can just really just think about it and really feel about it, and we'll just tap on the different points. So the first one is the card choke point, and you can tap with 1 finger or 2 fingers, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to start with the card choke point, and just think and feel into that fear, that phobia, that belief, whatever it is that you feel is stopping you. And then we're going to the next point, which is the inside of the eyebrow, top of the eye. So yeah, really sink into that. What does it feel like? What are the physical symptoms of that thing that's stopping you? And then you got the side of the eye, which is great when you've got glasses on. And then we got underneath the eye. Can you feel it? Can you feel that feeling, that or belief that's stopping you? And the ones underneath your nose. Can you see? So really feel into it, is it because you're afraid of making a fool of yourself? Afraid it's not going to work? Be a waste of time? And then underneath the lip and the chin. And the next one is clavicle here. That's my gun, can't see a thing. Alright, and the next one's the best one because it makes it look like a monkey. And top of the head. Once did this on a video to my friend, and she just laughed so much at me tapping on the top of my head, it made her feel so much better. So, hey, it worked. So. And then, if you're saying stuff out loud, because obviously I've explained the sort of process in the book, but if you're saying stuff out loud, you can first go through the process, through the tapping, thinking about the negative side of things, and then you can move it into a more neutral territory and then move on to the positive. But even just tapping on it and really feeling and really, like, you know, just sinking into that feeling can help you to reprogram. And it sounds completely ridiculous. If you've never used it before, it sounds completely crazy. And but like I said, it's amazing, even if you don't believe in it, even if you don't know how it works. Quite frankly, I don't even know how it works. It still can have an effect. It still can impact you and change things on a physical, spiritual, mental, emotional level that you won't even be aware of straight away. So, you know, I've had fears disappear, and it's not until weeks later that you're like, oh, yeah, I haven't got that anymore. But the point is, you can release those fears, you can release those beliefs, and quite often you won't even notice they're gone until you go and do something or something happens, and then you go, wow, I don't have a reaction to that anymore. I don't, you know, it's gone. It's completely and utterly gone. And, you know, you find yourself then taking action and moving towards doing what you really want to do. So the thing that you thought of earlier that you really want to do, that you then tapped on, of what is actually stopping you, can you think of something that you could do right now, today, like right now, to take the first step towards doing it? Anybody? Even if it's making a call, or booking something, buying something, I don't know. Or just telling somebody. You can say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then they hold you accountable that you're actually going to do it. Everyone's looking really scared right now. See, in my workshops, I actually don't let them leave until they've done something. They have to take action. Because otherwise, it is just talk. It is just, oh, you know, one day I'd like to do this. I mean, this book. I was telling you the story earlier about how this book came about. I was like, yep, great idea, I'll do that one day. Carried on about my day. I had a huge to-do list. I had tons of work to do. I work for myself. We don't have weekends. This is a Saturday. I still had loads of work to do. And I get in the shower, I'm trying to get ready for the day, and the ideas are just hitting me across the head. I'm like, look, I got shit to do. This is, you know, just go away. And it wouldn't leave me alone, so I did it. I sat down at 11 o'clock that morning, and I finished writing at 8 o'clock in the evening. Because the idea was there, the inspiration was there, and I acted on it. How many people get that inspiration, they just don't act on it? And then how many people get some good news and they don't celebrate and they don't go, woo, you know, this is amazing, you know, because, you know, Britain, we don't celebrate, we get drunk and forget stuff. But if you don't drink, that's not so much fun. But the point is, got it done in a day. I published it a week later, it went crazy. 3 weeks later, I got a publishing deal for it. All because one morning I went, you know what, sod the to-do list. I'm going to do this book. Why not? And that's the thing, we just keep putting off the things that we really want to do in favor of the to-do list, in favor of doing X, Y, and Z, in favor of going to work. I mean, no. Call in sick, do the book anyway. So wherever it is that you thought of, go on, somebody's going to like, can you tell me one thing you could do to take action, to make it happen? Anybody? Come on, you've all been too quiet. And I talk a lot. Sorry? Do more EFT? Yeah, we can do some more in a minute.
I've nearly finished the book myself, and I just, it's finding the time to write it, that's the problem.
Make the time.
That's it. It's fine. I need to get into a habit of doing it every day.
Oh, screw every day. Just make the time in bulks. Honestly, I write my novels in either 2 weeks or 2 months. Set a deadline. That's all you need. So you set a deadline and go, it's going to be out on that day. You tell loads of people. The way that I publish my books is I go, hey, it's going to be published on the 1st of July. 3 weeks before the deadline, I haven't finished writing it. But it's published on the 1st of July. Even if I'm up, I don't know how many nights trying to get it done, I will make it happen. And people are like, you do realize you set your own deadlines, right? Like, it's up to you. You could set longer deadlines. I could set longer deadlines and I'd still do it 3 weeks before the date. Because that's what gets me going. And actually, one of the first sections is find your method. Whatever method works for you. So for me, writing a book in 2 weeks to a month works for me. Give me a crazy-ass deadline and I'll make it happen. But that doesn't work for everybody. But if you do need to kick up the ass, then generally, setting a deadline's a good one. So what can you do? Can you set a deadline?
Yeah.
What's the deadline? Give me a date. I don't know. What's the day today? I don't even know what the day is. 2nd, 3rd? What are we? 3rd of August? So 3rd of September. Alright. Give me your email and I'll check. So what do you need to do?
I need to write maybe 5-6 chapters.
How many thousands words is that? I only work in thousands.
Maybe 4,000, 5,000 words.
A month to do 5,000 words. Seriously? 20th of August. Yeah? Alright, I'll get your email and I'll check. Anybody else? Now you're really scared, aren't you? Anybody? Okay, what are you not going to do? Judge people. Wow, that's huge. Perfect. I love it. Yes. Alright, so how do you judge people? How are you going to quantify that? Okay, but what do? Do you look at somebody and go, oh, look at that person, wow.
I saw something today holding up a carrot, and he was often talking about this carrot, and I started judging about what a crazy person.
So look at that crazy person holding that carrot. Okay, alright. Cool. So how are you going to quantify that to yourself? How do you know when you're not judging people?
Because I can read looking at people and their
Okay.
say doing.
So maybe for the rest of the day you could just find the craziest looking people possible and just be like, wow, that person's amazing.
Happy judges again.
Well, in a positive way.
In a positive.
I don't think telling somebody they're amazing is a bad thing. Yeah. So turn around to gratitude. Turn it into like, whoa, I wish I could stand there holding up that carrot looking crazy. Because that looks fun. Yeah? Cool. Anybody else? You're all just like, don't pick me. I don't want to set deadlines. It's too scary. I'll go on. Anybody? Brilliant. Yeah. Yep, so it's the making time thing. I'm actually going to talk, I've pitched another book to the publisher, and actually there's a section about how to slow time down. Does anybody want to learn that one? Sneak preview? It's really funny. So, this is usually when I'm in a hurry and I'm trying to get somewhere and I'm going to be late. But it kind of can work for anything. So time, as we know, doesn't exist. Time, we're experiencing it in a linear fashion, but it all happens all at the same time. Past, present, future, parallel universes, alternate dimensions, it's all happening at the same time. So, if we need more time, especially if you're late for a bus or whatever, I always use it for that, or late for work, or whatever. I can't sing, so no laughing, even though it's been recorded and it's going out, but anyway. So I start singing Madonna's song, don't know the rest of the words, but just the phrase, time goes by so slowly, over and over and over again, like a mantra. I know, it sounds ridiculous, right? And I just imagine, and this is good if you can visualize, so if I'm driving, I'm usually driving at this point, or on some kind of vehicle, I imagine that I'm moving forwards and time is going backwards. So you're kind of almost like going through a wormhole type thing. And I've never yet missed a bus, been late for work, missed anything. And in fact, if I am there a little bit late, the bus is later. So I still don't miss it. And the other thing that I use, which is actually in another book, is the beginning of a phrase, which I kind of made up, I don't know, came to me back in 2007, is I choose to tune into the reality where, and then you fill in the blank. So, you have to be careful, because, you know, some doesn't always work. So I'd be like, I choose to tune in the reality where I get to this place on time. I choose to tune in the reality. So the idea behind it is that we've got all these parallel universes, you know, and we live in one particular one, and in all these different realities is all the things that we want, or the things we want to experience, or where we're on time. So all you're doing really is choosing to tune into another one, and you're kind of like side hopping into another reality, like a bit like a radio dial. And it had an interesting effect. When I first made up the sentence, I was like, I'll use it to get to work on time, because I had 2 buses to get. The first one was at 7:47 in the morning, which is just shouldn't even exist. And I was always late. I never had time to eat breakfast. I would literally just like throw my clothes on, run out the door. I'd run to the bus stop, so I'd be drenched in sweat, and I'd just see it go down and I've missed it. Every single day. So I start waking up in the morning going, I choose to tune into reality where I get the 7:47 bus today without running. You have to put little clauses in there, with no running. And every single morning, and sometimes I'd sing the time goes by so slowly while I'm like, make my breakfast or whatever. And I found that not only was I getting up later, I was making pancakes for breakfast. I was checking my emails. I was, having a shower. I was sauntering down the road and literally arrived at the bus stop. Oh, there's the bus. And just hop on, no problems. Every single morning, did not miss it. Because I was actively choosing my reality. I was actively choosing my day. And I was also singing the Crazy Madonna song, which I figure probably helped. And the most recent one, I was in London, just been doing a talk for alternatives, and I'd been talking too long afterwards. I laughed, got on this bus, rush hour traffic on a Sunday night, like what? It's London. The only time I've ever seen London quiet was Christmas Day. And I'm sitting on this bus, and I know that my coach is leaving at 6:30, and it's the only coach that night. I would literally have been stuck in London for the night. And it's currently 6:10 and I'm on the other side and I'm just like, oh shit, am I going to make it? Excuse language, sorry, kids. This woman sits next to me and I'm like, oh my god, my coach is at like 6:30, and I'm like watching the clock. And she's like, well, realistically, you ain't going to make it. And I went, I don't believe in realistic, I believe in magic. And she just looked at me like I was crazy. And so I'm like sitting on the bus, time goes by, so slowly, time goes by, so slowly. I'm not kidding, singing on the bus. Out loud. I don't care. And so anyway, the bus is creeping forward. We're in this traffic, and I'm just like, phew. So I get ready by the thing, and I'm trying to figure out. GPS on phones is great, right? Because I'm like working out. Well, actually, I'm like 2 blocks away, maybe. So I go up to the driver and say, if I get off here and run, will I make it to my bus at 6:30 from Victoria Coach Station? And he just sort of looked at me and just opened the door and let me out. And I legged it. Got to the bus, completely out of breath, and he went, oh, you got 5 minutes yet? Well, what's the problem? And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm like dying, because I was carrying books and all sorts of stuff. And, and we were sat there, and we even left late as well, so, I wouldn't have missed it. But it's the idea of actively choosing. So when you're taking action, you are actively choosing, I want to do this thing, I'm going to take this action, I'm going to do this. And also, if you need to slow time down, put the Madonna song on. So you're going to set a deadline? I haven't forgotten. I know I went off on a tangent. No, that's the worst thing to do. That is the worst thing to do. Give yourself less time than you need, and then you actually have to do it. Honestly, I've written and published books in 3 months. You just have to, squish it right down. And tell as many people as possible, because it's really embarrassing when they go, hey, you done it yet? You done it yet? How's it going? How's the book going? Has he done it yet? Yeah, that's annoying. So you need that. It's like prodding. I mean, I have readers who do that for me now. I even got the threat of hate mail once when it was taking me a little bit too long to get the book out. So it's like, I'm actually going to send you hate mail. I was like, oh, well, there you are. But yeah, go on, give me a deadline. Okay. Halloween. Okay, cool. If you want to give me your email, I'll check if you want. So, I've absolutely no idea what I'm doing for time. Another half an hour?
No,
2:30.
yeah.
Another half an hour?
If you want.
Alright, so don't sing the song when you're doing a talk. Because suddenly you have loads of time. Okay. Alright, wow, let's do some more tapping for a start, because actually I was going to talk a little bit more about the root chakra, because obviously empowerment action is the solar plexus. Root chakra is all about safety, and it's about security, and it's about fear, basically. We don't want to do anything that we're acting from fear. And a lot of our inaction comes from financial issues as well. I mean, who's been like, oh, I really want to do this thing, but I haven't got the money, I haven't got the, the grounding, the funding, whatever it is that you want. And so that can obviously stop people, is the actual, it's the security thing. And I know, energetically, for pretty much most of my life, root chakra was completely shot because I just didn't have that grounding. And it's quite interesting. I read that apparently if you move house between the ages of like 0 and 1, then your root chakra won't develop properly. So if you moved as a very small child, chances are you won't have that feeling of grounding. Which, I only realised recently. My parents moved when I was like 8 months old. I don't remember it, obviously. But it gives you that sense of not having that grounding. And I actually counted up the other day. I've had over 50 jobs and I've lived in over 20 places. because I just haven't got the roots. I haven't got that. And that's what the root chakra is all about. It's about rooting, it's about grounding, and it's about having a stable foundation from which to springboard from. Otherwise, you're just constantly all over the place. So yeah, let's have a think about fears. So what fears specifically are around? So if you've just joined a little bit later, have a think about something that you want in your life, you want to experience in your life, you want to do, which I would call your unicorn. You may have lots of them, but if you just think about one, and then think about what fears surround it. So I'm going to pick on people now. So what fears surrounding doing the book? What's stopping you from just doing it?
Like I said, it's just a lack of time, and obviously I work full time. I'm a supervisor.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. I've got to keep on top of that.
So is there any like fears where you're just like, well, if I spend time doing this, I'll miss out on something else?
Mainly just like neglecting my girlfriend. I don't want to do that.
Okay. Fear of neglecting the girlfriend, that could have dire consequences.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I like the time in the evening is the time that I spend with her.
Right.
I don't want to be just stuck in, all the time.
Okay. So, yeah, so maybe you need to strike up a deal with her. Or is there a fear around talking to her about it? Would she understand? Cool, okay. So could anybody else think of a fear that would stop them from doing something they want to do? Anybody else? Can't keep picking on the same people.
Energy levels be depleted.
Okay. Well, that's a good one to think about with the actual grounding, with the root chakra, because if you're not grounded, then you are going to be all over the place and you aren't going to have that source of energy coming through. I mean, obviously a lot of us get energy from above, but we kind of forget that actually we need to be rooted, we need to be grounded. And quite often we are all up in our heads, we're not actually in our bodies, we're not physically there. And when we're doing stuff, we tend to use our own energy as well. We don't tend to actually channel the energy and let it come through. But I find that anytime I try to use my own energy or try to like come up with my own ideas, I actually like get my own way. Especially when it comes to writing. You know, if I'm sitting there and I'm like, woo, this would be a really cool idea for a scene, my technology literally will not allow me. It'll delete words, it'll get rid of pages, it'll do whatever I want, because actually what I need to do is to allow it to come through. So being grounded and allowing the energy to come through and not getting in our own way is definitely a good one for energy. But in terms of just on a physical level, drinking enough and sleeping enough, and actually the next book I've pitched is all about sleep. And it's kind of the yin to the yang, because obviously, we need to rest, we need to relax, and it's kind of become a bit of a swear word in itself to actually take time out. I mean, how many people, you're working full time and then you go spend time with your girlfriend and you got to do this, and do you actually get time to just go and do nothing? And, people just say, well, I sit at my computer most days and people are like, oh, I've just been sitting around doing nothing. No, I've been working. But it's almost like we wear the whole busy thing and the whole like getting stuff done thing as a badge of honor, and we forget that we need to balance it. Hence why I want to write the book, by the way, because I can't relax. So I write books about stuff I don't know how to do. Because in writing it, I allow the stuff to come through. And in fact, one of the things I'm going to do, and which, I would challenge you guys to do it, but it's just cruel, is to go without my phone for 24 hours. Because that's, scary. Because most of us are addicted, to our smartphones, we're addicted to the internet, we're addicted to being constantly connected to other people, but we're not connected to ourselves anymore. We've forgotten that actually we need to, put the thing away and actually be in our own bodies and actually connect to ourselves, because that's again when we deplete our energy. Because I don't know about you guys, but you can get the energy of people through the screen. You can get attachments and all sorts of stuff. Again, see Adrian's talk if you want to see about attachments and stuff. He's great at this stuff. We can pick up on energy from people, through a computer screen. I used to have crystals all over my computer screen to try and deflect their energy back. So yeah, it's kind of just taking time out. And obviously, if you're at the Green Gathering, you probably know how to chill, I'm hoping. Because, I think that's kind of the whole general gist of this as well, is that you relax and you chill out. But it's not good enough in a way to just do that on the weekend when you're away on holiday. It's about bringing that into the rest of your life. And also, you might find that by taking time out, you actually end up with more time. Because you've actually relaxed and you've chilled out, and it almost lengthens time. Whereas when you're busy and constantly doing stuff and doing all that, it's like, oh my god, it's the end of the day and I've got to go to bed. And we don't actually relax when we sleep. We think, oh, I'll relax later when I'm asleep. But if you've been on the go all the time, you've got all the sort of adrenaline and cortisol or whatever, you don't actually relax when you're asleep either. You know, you're not actually, your body's not repairing itself, it's not taking care of itself because you're still like this. And then you'll wake up and you'll be like, the alarm clock goes off and you, right, I gotta go and do this, and you're like on the go again. And it's no wonder that we're all just basically crashing out and burning out and our bodies are just going, I've had enough. So, anyway, I go off on tangents, you may have noticed. So, fears. If anybody can think, well, it doesn't even have to be related to the unicorn that you want, just think of anything that freaks you out, that makes you just want to like hide in a little hole somewhere, and we're going to tap on that just for the fun of it because we have plenty of time, because apparently I'm talking too fast. Another interesting side effect of the tapping, so you know. So everybody's ready? Yeah, so we're going to tap on fears. So whatever it might be, fear of what other people think of you, fear of being seen, fear of being seen to have taken time out, fear of using up your energy, fear of your girlfriend telling you off. Could be anything. So we're going to start on the karate chop point. And once you've done this a few times as well, it becomes kind of ingrained. And what I love about it as well, if you have kids, is you can do it with kids as well. And I mean, kids have huge amount of fears, you know, well, they're kind of given to them. They don't have them when they're younger, but like, you know, if they're at school or exams, this is really good for exams, because if kids are doing exams and they're freaking out, you can actually just get them to just tap just under the desk. Like, you don't even have to do the face thing, you could just do the karate chop. Or this point here, this point is also good for calming down. So yeah, teach that to kids, teach it to, you know, anybody who gets really stressed out. So we're thinking about the fear, and then we're going to the eye point here. And just like sink into that feeling. And then we got the side of the eye. And then underneath the eye. And also if anything comes up as you're doing it, if you're feeling into the emotion, just let it out. Safe space, no judgment. And under the chin, calm it down. And then the clavicle. Just doing this actually calms me down. I might talk a bit slower. Maybe. And then the one on the head. And then yeah, if you were doing several rounds, you'd go from the head back to the eye. So that's kind of the little cycle that you'd go through. Just feeling into it. And yeah, if you want to look it up, there's gazillions of videos on this on YouTube. And it's EFT or tapping. And pretty much anything you could possibly think of that you want to tap on, there will be a video on it. Guaranteed. Public speaking, anxiety, on the side of the eye, depression, fears, phobias. I'll tell you a funny one as well. A few years ago, I was doing a care job, just looking after this guy, and out of nowhere I started getting texts from somebody I went to primary school with and I hadn't seen for over 10 years, and well, 15 years. And I don't know, she was trying to ask me questions about stuff that happened when we were kids, which I didn't remember, because to be fair, I blocked the entire school experience out, not fun. And she sent me about 20 text messages asking all these random questions but wouldn't tell me what she was talking about, and she was really, really annoying me, and I was getting so angry and so annoyed because she wouldn't answer my questions and she wouldn't tell me what it was about. And I thought, well, I can't be angry, I'm at work right now, I'm looking after this guy, it's not a good place. So I started tapping. And like, even though I'm really angry right now, I'm gonna let it go. And did the little tapping, made his dinner, went in. She didn't reply to the text messages, and I've never heard from her again. That was about 8 years ago. So you can actually get rid of people too. Just in case it's helpful. I mean, I was just tapping on the, the emotion that was coming up in me. I was tapping on my feeling around this person, but yeah, the person themselves just completely disappeared. So So, and then switch it up. Think about what's the opposite of that fear. What is the thing? Can you imagine what you would be doing if you didn't have that fear? What would be possible for you if you didn't have that fear? Can you see yourself standing on the stage, writing the book? Asking the person out, doing whatever it is that you want to do and that you can't do. Changing the world. Starting your own business. And how would that feel? So get into that feeling. And allow that to kind of just like sink in, how it would feel. And if you can't quite imagine it, because sometimes it's hard to imagine what it would actually feel like to do the things that you really want to do, then just, just trying to sort of like picture it from distance, as if you were somebody else watching yourself doing it. So. I do it out of habit because I'm right-handed. You can do it on the left. You can do both at the same time. Kind of know there probably are rules that people have made up around it, but I don't do rules. May I noticed, don't do rules. So basically go with what feels good. And then it's come into my head, so I'm going to say it. It's not to do with EFT necessarily, but as a way of kickstarting your immune system. So saying about energy, about getting your body back on track, you can just tap on the thymus here. It's quite hard. And this is like a restart button for your energy system, for your body. And it's almost just like it makes the body aware and kickstarts it. I don't know the science, I just know this shit works. So yeah, if you need a bit more energy, you can kickstart it. Well, I feel calmer, but don't mind water though. Oh, we did? Let me guess, I slowed time down and I've got 20 minutes left.
Just over 15.
See? See, so if you want to slow time down, yes. Okay.
So it's like a feeling like a brain
Yeah.
that I don't know where the blockage is. I can't always identify the emotion.
Yeah.
And so much.
Emotion. It's interesting you say identify the emotion. Okay. One way to do that, you probably have to find a list online or whatever. I have a list of emotions that I actually copied out of a book. Shh, don't tell anybody. I haven't sold it or anything, so it's fine. But the book is called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. Great title. I love it. And there's a list in there which was far too tiny to actually be able to do anything with, so I typed it out. Unbelievably, I'm not kidding. This thing is pages and pages long. And what I do, if there is something that's holding me back, I don't know what the feeling is, emotion or belief, I don't know what it is, I dowse. Do you know how to dowse? Okay. Well, do you want to come up here? Hey, this will be fun. So you can use a pendulum, you can use rods, and in fact, again, I'm really pitching Adrian here, but he's a good friend of mine. I helped him publish his book, so hey. So he talks about dowsing with pendulums and rods, but you can dowse with your body. Have you dowsed with your body?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what I would do is I get this list of emotions, and I've got it in this little notebook, and it's like A to Z. Don't know why I said Z, that's so American. Apologies. And basically I'd open the book halfway, and I'd say, right, is the emotion in this side of the book? And I would ask, I finger dowse, or you can body dowse. So does anybody know how to dowse? Am I no? Okay, so dowsing, just explain what dowsing is. Dowsing is tuning into your energy and the earth energies and asking questions, and your body or pendulum or rods or however you use will give you the answer. Now you can get a straight yes or no answer from your body, and the way you do that is you just stand and you ask your body, show me yes. And typically people go forward. And if you ask show me a no, then you'd usually go backwards. My no's usually take longer for some reason. If you hand dowse, because it's kind of a little bit more discreet, if you're in the supermarket and you're trying to figure out what food to eat, because you can dowse anything. I have a lot of food allergies, so you can be dowsing food. I dowse is this tin good? Nope, So to finger dowse, you cross fingers, and a yes would be if you're trying to pull them apart and you can't, and a no is if they just won't stay together. So again, takes a bit of practice, figure out your own yes or no response. But with the body dowsing, so you show me a yes. Ask your body to show you yes.
Okay.
Okay, so it's forward. Okay, and then a no. Okay, cool. So what you could do is you'd get this list of emotions, and you'd be like, well, is it in this side of the book, or is it A to M, or whatever? And ask your body, yes, it is. Okay, so then what I would do is, I've got a finger downs, I just go like this. Is it A, B, C, D? And I'll just go through the alphabet, but obviously you could just do it. Take a bit more time, but with the body. And then you find, it's M. And then you go through the list. Is this emotion, this emotion, this emotion, this emotion? And it's really interesting because your body knows what emotion is trapped.
Yeah.
It knows what the problem is, even if you don't consciously know.
Right.
And the number of times I've done that and I've gone, really? One of them was anger, actually. I talk about anger a lot. And at the time, I was happy, I was great, everything was cool, and I was just like, anger? Seriously? Not feeling it at all. And I said, okay, I'll tap on it. So then I started tapping. Even though I feel really angry, I totally love and accept myself. Even though the stuff I was angry about, I stood there for about half an hour, tapping on all the stuff. I was crying. I was just like, and I just kept, well, I'm really angry about this, and I'm really angry about that, and I'm really, and I just let that out. And then I started obviously trying to put the positive in, and I completely released it from wherever it was.
Wow.
But consciously, it didn't resonate at all. And obviously the more in-depth the emotion list is, this Feelings Buried Alive has a very in-depth emotions list. Some of them are very specific
Really?
emotions,
Yeah.
not just sort of like angry, upset or whatever. They are sort of like maligned or, it's great vocabulary if you need it for books, it's a great list of emotions. But what it also does is it gives you the opposite 3 positive emotions.
Yeah.
So once you've ended up tapping out all the negative, you could then use those lists and you could tap in the positive.
Right.
So dowsing is a brilliant tool. If you know there's something holding you back and you don't know what it is, douse for it and ask.
Okay.
And usually through your dowsing, something will pop into your head and you go, oh, is it that? And it,
Yeah.
so it's just about really getting in tune with your body and getting in tune with yourself and allowing, these things to come up. Because quite honestly, we've hidden some of this stuff pretty deep.
Yeah.
We've hidden this stuff in different parts of our body and our energy because, we don't actually really want to know. But if you want to take action and do stuff and whatever, then you have to figure out what it is.
Because I think I feel safe when I put the brakes on. So
Yes.
That's like.
So root
really
chakra.
Yeah.
If I stay in this place, I'm safe. If I'm moving forward, I'm moving out of this safe zone. So what I would suggest is find the safe zone in your own body. So no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you're safe.
Oh, how do you do that then?
Well, that's a good question. I would say the way that I've found, because obviously, like I said, I've moved around a lot. I felt very unsettled. I've been very nomadic, which I manifested, by the way. I wrote in my diary for years, I want to be a nomad. I want to live everywhere. Yeah, well, after 10 years of it, it's just like, I ain't packing another suitcase. Sod off. What I would say is it's about making your own home in your own body. And the first step to doing that is to love yourself exactly as you are. Which freaks most people out, and they're just like, that old cliche of love yourself, looking in the mirror going, I love you. But the moment I actually accepted my body, because quite frankly, your body's the only thing you're going to have for your entire life. It's the only thing that's going to stick with you all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Other people will go away, other things will go away, situations will go away, homes will go away, safety will go away, but you will be there until you're in. So the moment that you fully accept your body exactly as it is, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way people see it, the way you see it, as soon as you love every single molecule of yourself, you've made your home in yourself, and you won't feel, you don't feel unsafe.
So I accept that as well.
Absolutely. I used to call myself the procrastination queen. Oh, I could procrastinate. Seriously, I could put stuff off. And, I could do that again if I wanted to. That was a part of me. That was a part of my, learning. And now I'm the kind of person that loves deadlines, and I set deadlines. And we go through all these different phases, and none of them are wrong or bad or, you could set that deadline, I could email and you go, nope, I'm done it. I'd be like, cool. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you. You don't have to do anything. This is probably a really bad thing to say. I'm like, unicorn book, just fucking do it. You don't have to do anything. We didn't come to this planet to, just be on the go all the time. But at the same time, if you want to, you can. The point is that we don't, because of this program or because of these things that are holding us back. And we're just like, but actually I do want to change stuff. I do actually want to do this thing. I don't want to be held back. But then there are some people who do just like being drama lovers and complaining, and actually they're quite happy with their life the way it is, but they think they should want something different. And therein again is the resistance. Because they don't need to have anything different. If they're quite happy with their life, then, who am I to say anything? And that's why, It's entirely up to you. And like I said, I set my own deadlines. Nobody does it for me. I could change them if I wanted to. And I've only done that once. And that's because I'd written a scene in a book that was too like something happened in the news a week later, so I didn't want to publish it. I published it a year later. Just because it, didn't feel right. But at the end of the day, it's about making the choice. It's about choosing how you want to live your life. It's about choosing the decisions and the action that you take, and not allowing yourself to just react to your old programming, your own beliefs, whatever happened before that point. It's kind of like looking at every situation from a brand new viewpoint and forgetting everything that's already happened. And that's kind of what the EFT does. That's what the reprogramming does. We got 5. I'm sticking to the floor here. So, yeah, if you want to change things, you can. If you don't want to change them, that's cool too. Like, as we were saying, no judgment. Yeah, it's entirely up to you. Sorry, I won't make you stand there any longer.
Thank you.
But, yeah, get into your body, get into your power. And that's, so we're talking about empowerment. It's about getting into your authentic energy, your authentic self. Dance around with fairy wings. I mean, I was at a Unicorn and Prosecco festival a couple of weeks ago wearing the horn and the tutu and everything. And I was dancing like a nutter. 90s music is now popular again. Who knew? I haven't been to a club in so long, it's kind of gone back in time. But the point is to just really, live the way that you want to live and go after the freaking unicorns. Go after the things that you really want. Don't just stick it on a vision board and go, oh, it'll be nice one day. Take action. Do it. And if you put it on a vision board and then go, do you know what, I don't actually want that thing, take it off the fucking vision board and get rid of it. Who cares? So yeah. I think we have a couple of minutes. Has anybody got any questions? We were talking.
Is the book on sale today right here?
Yes, what a great question. Yes, I do have some copies here with me. Yes, I do have them. They are shiny and they are illustrated. So, they've got pretty pictures, if nothing else. I didn't illustrate them, just so you know. I really can't draw.
How much are they?
$7.99. All right. Were there any other questions? Or have I just fried everyone's brains? Yes. Yeah, so most people in general would go forward for yes and a back for no. And then finger dowsing, it holds strong for yes and opens for no. If you find that difficult to do, you can also do rings. If you can't pull it apart, it's a yes, and if you can, it's a no. But yeah, if you're here all weekend, check out Adrian. He's talking tomorrow. I don't know when. So.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you.